Here we go. So this is the Global Alliance in Parkinson's Disease PD Avengers surveying late evening effects of Parkinson's sleep survey in partnership with AbbVie. Thanks for being here. This is for a global survey online March 15th to May 15th this past year. And we are excited to present it to you today. So before we continue, this data offers valuable insights into the characteristics of those who participate in the research, which can help us better understand and interpret the findings. It should not be used to make general assumptions about the entire patient or caretaker population. This data set includes those that did not complete a full survey, which chose to complete a selection of responses. This means that the total responding to each question is going to be vary based on the number that responded to that question. To strengthen the sample, we have at times combined categories like characterizing Parkinson's characterizing Parkinson's mild, moderate, significant, advanced, or profound. And some slides will show significant plus to indicate that this has been combined with advanced and profound. That makes sense? Good. I'll let somebody in here real quick. Great. Gender reporting. The data set includes 6 genderqueer respondents. While AbbVie is a great partner, the survey was designed and executed by the PD Avengers. The data was analyzed and extrapolated expertly by Social Signal, and the survey could not have been executed without you. So thank you for participating. A global alliance of more than 8,000 people, 150 partner organizations in 103 countries affected by Parkinson's disease, including partners, caregivers, researchers, advocates, and healthcare professionals. If you've not signed up yet, it is free, so you just go to pdavengers.com and sign up. We are united in purpose. PD Avengers galvanizes a global network to elevate Parkinson's awareness and advocate for meaningful change in research and treatment. We add urgency to the cause of raising awareness, drive research, and advocate for better treatments and care. We use various initiatives, campaigns, and events to amplify the voices of those impacted by PD and advocate for positive change in the policies and practices related to Parkinson's disease. Now, this is not the first group that has seen this. You see Sonia Mather there. She is a co-founder of the PD Avengers. She was at the European Academy of Neurology in Helsinki, Finland, this last weekend.
Okay, when are you there?
We are excited that she was able to present the results there and get general neurologists in Europe up to speed on the sleep study that a sleep survey that we were able to put out. So why are we doing a sleep survey? That's a good question, Larry. It's a great question, in fact. We are doing a sleep survey for a number of reasons. Parkinson's disease is the fastest growing brain disorder in the world, now impacting 11.8 million people. While tremors and other motor symptoms are well known, many other symptoms such as sleep and depression can be invisible to others, making those with the disease feel even more isolated. What was once a tranquil period of rest transforms into a battleground where the complexities of the condition manifest with remarkable intensity, disrupting not just sleep, but also overall well-being across motor symptoms and non-motor symptoms alike. Often these are overlooked, undertreated. We set out to show Parkinson's as a 24-hour disease with different symptoms during the day than at night, impacting both people with Parkinson's and their partners. Sleep is one thing that impacts everything from your memory to your physical and mental health to cognitive function and stress reduction. It's vital we get sleep, and yet Parkinson's never does sleep. A lot of people call Parkinson's a motor disease, which I'm going to say the fact is that Parkinson's is more than just a motor disease. It's a full body disease. It's mostly non-motor symptoms. It certainly is in the category of neurodegenerative disorders, chronic progressive disease. Most cases are idiopathic, which just means the cause is unknown. Because the primary manifestations and treatment targets of Parkinson's disease revolve around movement, it's classified as a motor disease with the broader category of neurodegenerative disorders. Because the primary manifestations and treatment targets of Parkinson's disease revolve around movement, it is classified as a motor disease. Now, this is a disservice to us, PD community, who suffer and deal with symptoms both motor and non-motor throughout each day and night. Okay, so as we break down the survey, we had 27 countries participate, 1,248 people with Parkinson's, 286 caregivers. And you can see the breakout there of all different countries. And so we were not able to divide all the data into the different countries, or the data would be unstable. So we have divided it into North America and Europe for the most part, with some exceptions, and you'll see those as they come along. So here, I really want to point out, we are looking at the region of distribution for PWP, top left. So that's the distribution in the region. And the region of distribution for the caregiver, bottom left. And then top right is the gender distribution, and bottom right is the caregiver distribution, gender. Hopefully that makes sense for you. So if you're up here, you're with the PWP. Here, you're with the regions, and here, you're with the genders. Okay? Yeah. 1 in 4, the number of people with Parkinson's who characterize their Parkinson's as being significant, advanced, or profound. And those were the options that we gave them: mild, moderate, significant, advanced, and profound. And I'll let you go over those symptoms. But it's, I found this pretty remarkable that people, when evaluating their own Parkinson's, they find themselves in that significant, advanced, or profound category. So 96% of people that we surveyed say they have sleep issues. On average, their sleep is disrupted 2.75 times. 2.75, almost 3 times a night. And if Parkinson's symptoms were poker cards, we would all be playing 5 card stud tonight, because we all deal with at least 5 on average, 5 symptoms every night. That's a lot. 72% of PWP discuss sleep with their doctors, but only 20% have been diagnosed with a sleep disorder. I'm not sure what the discord is there, but something's not happening. And then we've got the surveys responding to characterize their own Parkinson's as significant, advanced, or profound. We're more likely to have difficulties rolling over in bed. And this is interesting. So mild impact was 43%. Like I said, they were moderate, it was 68, and then significant plus was 84%. So you can see the difficulties that increase as the disease progresses. Here are the top 3 nighttime symptoms overall. Frequent awakenings, 53%, so over half. Half the people suffer from insomnia, and 41% suffer from bradykinesia, which is slowness of movement. Those are the top. I suffer from hallucinations too, this person says. Bugs feel like they're crawling on my face and neck. I hate the nightmares. From the UK. Percentage of people who have Parkinson's who say they have vivid dreams and night terrors or a regular issue at night is 30%. Basically 1 in 3. That's a lot. 88% of care partners report at least a little sleep disruption due to a partner's PD. This caregiver says, every night I wake up multiple times to help my husband turn in bed. It's exhausting. It takes a toll on my own health. One in 4 say their sleep is disrupted a lot or a great deal. And then this is a PWP in Canada who said, most people do not understand how the lack of sleep impacts my Parkinson's symptoms. Isn't that the truth? So what I've done here is I've broken out the top symptoms of interventions, the top interventions that doctors recommend when PWP discuss sleep issues. The number one thing they do is they offer you a new drug, 41%. Hey, here's a new prescription. And then 40% say they talk to their health professionals about maybe maintaining a sleep schedule. So they're going to bed and waking up at the same times every day. 37% say they've been told to avoid their phone or computer screen. 32% have been advised to get more exercise. 27% said meditation or mindfulness. 1 in 4 avoid caffeine and limit your naps. 1 in 5 keep your room cool, dark, and quiet. And 1 in 5 use vitamins or supplement. 1 in 5 breathing exercises. And then avoid alcohol is just 13%. Now let's break this down a little further for you. Let's go European versus North America. So this is some of this is really interesting. So 40% of North American doctors will write a prescription for you, while 43% of European doctors will. And then the sleep schedule, 44% of North Americans were told to use a sleep schedule, but only 32% of Europeans were. 38% of North Americans were told to avoid phones, but 32% of Europeans were. 34% of PWPs in North America were told to get more exercise, only 27% were. Meditation and mindfulness, 30% in North America, 23% in Europe. This is a big one. Avoid caffeine, 29% and 9%. And here's a huge one. Use vitamins or supplements, 26% in North America, only 11% in Europe. And now let's break it down, male, female. So this is, there's not a huge gaps here, just a few. You'll see avoid phones. Women are told to avoid their phone more than men. Men are told to exercise more than women. Women are advised for mindfulness more. Men are told to stop drinking caffeine. Women are offered vitamins and minerals or supplements, and breathing exercises. And still not a lot of people told to avoid alcohol. What is interesting is this quote from PWP here. At first, I thought my symptoms were just part of menopause, but they kept getting worse. It took a long time to get a proper Parkinson's diagnosis. Here's some more verbatim responses for you. Our relationship suffers. It's difficult to maintain intimacy and connection when we're both exhausted. Parkinson's doesn't take a break. It impacts us 24/7, and its cumulative effect is exhausting. Sleep disorders can be as disabling as issues with movement or balance, yet rarely treated with the same level of concern. It is important that our HCPs take time to talk to us about sleep symptoms and help us in providing them with sufficient details, as it's not easy for us to explain our symptoms. Here's some more. Seeing my partner struggle to sleep makes me feel so helpless. I may have to retire this year because of my sleep difficulties. I planned on retirement 4 years from now. Yikes. When my partner doesn't sleep well, it affects my mood too. I find myself feeling more irritable and short-tempered during the day. When my partner doesn't sleep well, it affects my mood too. I find myself feeling more irritable and short-tempered during the day. Oh, that was a double. When my partner, oh, here it is. It's that one too. Oh, something didn't copy over. It's stressful when my partner has trouble sleeping. I worry about their well-being and feel anxious about them not being able to help them. Okay, so look at the burden of caregiving. 40% of caregivers report feeling an emotional burden due to their caregiving responsibilities. 34% of caregivers experience disruption in their sleep on a regular basis. 32% of caregivers are concerned about the well-being of the person they care for. 23% of caregivers report increased stress levels. This data underscores the significant emotional, physical, and logistical challenges faced by caregivers, highlighting the need for support and resources to mitigate these impacts. One respondent said, "It's great my husband goes to exercise class, but I no longer, it's something else I have to put on my list." I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that's true. Caregiver sleep disruptions. More than 25% of caregivers say their sleep is disrupted a great deal or a lot. Another 32% of caregivers say their sleep is disrupted a moderate amount. 88% of caregivers have some sleep disruptions because of their partner's Parkinson's disease. So not only is this affecting 96% of people with Parkinson's, 88% of care partners are also disrupted. And what happens when nobody gets any sleep? That's not a good thing. Little quote from me: "These findings underscore the critical need for improved management of sleep-related issues in Parkinson's care. Addressing these challenges requires a comprehensive and multidisciplinary approach, including thorough sleep assessments, tailored interventions, and increased awareness among healthcare providers and individuals living with Parkinson's." The survey results highlight the complex interplay between Parkinson's disease and sleep disturbances and emphasize the importance of prioritizing sleep management as an integral component to Parkinson's care. The insights from our data are more than just numbers. They're a clarion call to the Parkinson's community: patients, caregivers, healthcare providers, researchers, and policymakers. We must acknowledge the demographic difference, develop tailored interventions that consider regional and demographic variations, support the supporters, implement specific programs to alleviate the burden on caregivers, recognizing their critical role in the care ecosystem, bridge the perception gap, foster open communication between PWP and caregivers to ensure that interventions are effective and inclusive, and improve healthcare provider engagement, ensure that the healthcare providers actively discuss and diagnose sleep issues in PWP to provide comprehensive care. We encourage you to begin those discussions with your healthcare providers immediately. They can't help you if you don't help yourself, if you don't bring it to their attention. With that, I will thank you. It's a quick look at the survey. We can turn on the microphones now, and I'm happy to take your questions. I will stop sharing my screen. Does anybody have any questions or concerns or comments that you'd like to add? Anything surprise you? Denise Bernard Coley, your hand is raised.
Yep. So one of my initial reactions to this, Larry, is that I would put sleep and sleep disorder in the same category I would put the issues of not reaching underengaged communities, etc. When our movement disorder specialists and neurologists are trained with a specific unintended bias about Parkinson's awareness. So, for example, this is a motor disease. My reaction immediately is, so how many of our actual practitioners are prepared and trained to deal with sleep issues? And so this is sort of outside their purview or outside what they expected. And so while they may have the best of intent, this may be another case of those unintended biases, just not looking for sleep disorder. So I think this is a hugely valuable set of results to get this dialogue going. But I also think that where the intervention is going to be needed is way back in the training grounds, where they're receiving their education about Parkinson's and what it is and what things need to be treated. So why it's going to be helpful to talk to our practitioners today. It's also going to be very helpful to talk to those in the pipeline. Get this in the pipeline so that sleep disorders, sleep issues get talked about earlier on and recognized as an integral part of Parkinson's.
And I've written an op-ed for the Journal of Parkinson's, so hopefully they'll pick that up. And so people who need to see this will see it.
All right, Denise has a comment also.
Hello, Denise.
Hey, Larry. So this is one of those things below the iceberg. Most of the things that bother most of us, I would think, are below the iceberg in the water. And one thing I found out about sleep, the best advice I've gotten is from different support group members to get satin or silk sheets or satin or silk pajamas, which are much more effective so your partner doesn't slide off the bed. And it helps in turning over without waking up your partner when you want to turn over.
Yes, there's a great company that makes those. What's the Comfort
Comfort linen.
Comfort
It's
Linen? There
Nancy
she
here.
is, Nancy. Nancy's here. So line
Hello,
up.
Larry.
She's got your Comfort Linen for you.
Yes, and could I comment on this a bit? You make a good point with having a specific kind of sheet and what you wear to bed. But the regular satin sheets and the regular pajamas are less effective than what I've been able to design to specifically enable people to move, particularly for the turning, getting in and out of bed. And so the point that, is it Denise? I didn't catch your name.
Denise.
Yeah, so Denise, what you say, we've had a study completed actually in Japan, and the 3 segments were caregivers, people with Parkinson's, and people with a sleep disorder not related to Parkinson's. And the results were very, very positive in terms of enabling better sleep because there's less disruption through the night with the struggle to move. And that less disruption, not only great for the person with Parkinson's, but the caregivers are saying, well, I'm sleeping better too because my partner's more able to move. And so the whole concept behind friction reducing sheets and pajamas that are designed scientifically to be more effective than the off the shelf store type traditional sheets or satin pajamas. So yeah, I'd love to speak with you more on sort of where things are going in other countries in terms of some of the sleep and how they're introducing this product to their aging population, particularly in Japan. It's a huge aging crisis that they have. And many people with Parkinson's without the resources maybe that I'm seeing here for North Americans and Europeans generally.
Great, thanks, Nancy. Yeah, it's a growing population around the world. The latest burden of disease study from the Lancet shows there are 11.8 million people currently diagnosed with Parkinson's. Next year, that number grows to 14 million. So when you hear these other organizations talk about 6 million or 8 million or 10 million, it's not correct anymore. They just updated these figures. Would anybody else have any questions or comments? Feel free to raise your hand or yes.
Can you post the link to Sonia's article that was published yesterday?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Karen.
Hawthorn berries is one of my tea ingredients that does help you sleep.
Okay.
You start off with small amounts to see how it does with your system, but yeah, it is one of those things that'll help you get at least your 5 hours solid if you can plan it right.
And I don't know are there any things about that maybe you wouldn't may not jive with your medication or anything?
If you question it, you can look it up in Indigo Herbs.
Okay, just understand we're not medical professionals here.
I know. Just
And now you know, I just want to make sure everybody knows. And
yeah.
and so you be sure to consult your physicians before you do any of that stuff. Yeah, go ahead. To Monique.
Yes, was the REM sleep behavior disorder part of the survey at the acting out of the dreams? Because what I hear that some people do that very violently, and then the partners have to start sleep separately in separate beds or rooms, which I find really, really sad.
Yeah, there's about a third of the people that we surveyed that are sleeping in separate beds now. And it's because of the nighttime acting out dreams, which I have as well. So who else has a question? Yeah, go ahead, Mark. Richard, I'll get to you. Greg, I'll get to you next.
I'm trying to figure out how to raise my hand on this thing because it doesn't seem to be a raised hand.
Oh,
icon
okay.
anywhere. Anyway, so one thing I was thinking about was if you make it easier to move around in bed, isn't there also the danger that you make it easier to fall out of bed?
That's a good point. I suppose if you're moving a lot, yeah. But sometimes you get so stuck in a position, I don't know if you ever have, where you can't move, you can't turn over. I know what the sheets that they were talking about before, they allow you to turn over in place as opposed to push you off the bed, which is nice.
So
Yeah,
they go ahead.
sorry, I haven't been able to figure out my raising the hand either, but could I comment further about your important question? Yes, for people with the REM sleep disorder and all the movement that happens with that, it's a little bit unpredictable, but we have taken a measure to mitigate that risk of sliding off the bed, and that is to use a higher friction material on the outer sides of the bed for about 6 inches. And that increased friction is not just a reminder that you're getting close to the edge, but it helps to grab onto a person before they slide right off. It does help improve the stability that way.
Well, Nancy, where can people find your stuff?
Yeah, I'm just posting that on the chat group.
Okay,
If they look us up on www.comfortlinen.com, and I'll make a point of saying there's no S on linen. It's just simply Comfort Linen. You will find a completely different company if you add the S on there. And I'll also
She's not
include
responsible for that.
Pardon me?
You're not responsible for whatever website it takes you to.
No, people will be very disappointed if you order those sheets because they have nothing to do with enabling movement. And really what I've created using my experience as a physiotherapist is really the only set. It's a unique set combination of what you wear to bed and the sheet that you lie on. There's a few other accessory items, but the main thing is what you wear, what you lie down on, the interacting surfaces of the two fabrics is what I've designed to minimize, virtually eliminate the friction that interferes with freedom of movement. And not only does it reduce the friction, but it also minimizes the effects of gravity. And what I hear from so many people with Parkinson's who struggle at night is it's hard to overcome the friction and lift against gravity all at the same time to manage. And it's really been quite astounding what people are writing in our customer reviews. And Larry, I've put a compilation together and I would love to send that to you because I have learned so much from the people who are using my product and what it is that they tell me about it.
Great.
So I'll include my email in the chat line as well. It's just nancy@comfortlinen.com.
Great, thanks, Nancy. Anybody else have any? Greg, let's go to you next.
You had mentioned the night terrors and tying RBD into that. I unfortunately have suffered night terrors for a number of years. Always roughly the same thing. The top half of the person I'm fighting is a tiger. Bottom half is a man. I'm always trying to get 10 or 12 or 15, handicapped, older. Something's wrong with the people, and I'm trying to get them from point A on the left side of the screen to point B. I get half the group over there and turn around, and Tiger Man is tearing to shreds in living color, blood everywhere, get into cat fights. These terrors are so bad that a lot of times I don't even want to go back to sleep because I always win if I stay awake.
Right.
So
Yeah, Greg, it's a real
I
issue.
have mentioned this to doctors, several of the neurologists that I've seen, and they all say, "Oh, that's terrible."
Wish we
You
could
know.
help, right?
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
That's too bad. I know there are some medications out there that they use for RBD. I don't know if you've been on any of them. I'm not going to name any names here, but there are some out there. So may want to ask your docs again too.
Yeah. You know, a year ago, I had deep brain stimulation surgery.
Yeah,
And ever since then, I've had far fewer
good.
episodes of the night terrors.
Yeah, we didn't
So,
survey about that, but that's good to hear.
yeah, DBS appears to have at least, I don't know if it's causation or correlation, but there seems to be some correlation to lightening up a little bit. But I
Okay.
still swing, punch. My wife and I sleep on a king size bed with 2 6-foot pillows in between us to protect her. And I wake up on the floor on my hands and knees, doing all kinds of stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
People think you're crazy when you mention it.
Especially if you show up to work with the cuts on your face or whatever. Like, what happened? I'm like, oh, I dove into my nightstand. All right. Karen, did you have anything else?
Oh, just I feel for you guys. I'm not quite there yet, thank God, but I feel for you guys.
Thank you.
Sorry you got to go through it.
Who else would like to contribute before we say goodbye? All right. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Laurie, will there be a follow-on extension to the study?
Yes. Yes, there will. Likely not as in depth. It will be more of a question of the month type thing, and we'll keep adding to the data that way, as opposed to trying to get everybody to do a 15-minute survey every year or every month or whatever. Hey, Karen.
Just again, thank you for doing this. This is great that you put it all together. And if there's anything else I can do, let me know.
I will. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here and being interested and for paying attention and for the conversation. Appreciate it. Take care.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a
Larry.
good one.
Bye.
Bye.